So let's kind of get into that a little bit. Why don't you tell the story of the business that you currently own and how you got into it and where you are taking it?
All right, yeah. So, unfortunately, November of 2019, I lost my father. And like right after, my uncle and my grandpa, we all sat down and we are like, all right, what are we going to do with this business that my dad had owned? And the business is called Dr. E-Cigarettes. It's a vape shop. And honestly, I had no idea where to start, what to think. I had
Yeah,
just
because you
lost my.
don't vape.
No, I don't. I don't.
Which is
Um, yeah, no, and I used to, so I had a somewhat of a mindset on it. I worked at Wild Bill's for probably 4 or 5 months, and that's actually when I realized that I was good at sales.
that's a
Oh, it's a tobacco head shop type glass. That they sell
okay.
just a little bit
Yeah,
of everything, cigars.
gotcha.
Really cool
Same
industry.
same industry.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, same industry, much bigger than we are because we're technically just a mom and pop shop.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so going forward with losing my father, I had no idea what to do. I didn't, I've never run a business by myself. I've never even really thought about. Well, I've always wanted to own a business, but I never knew what. So kind of getting this thrown into my lap was just. It was. I'm very grateful for it, but also I lost my father, so I just have to make the best of the situation that I was given.
Yeah, it's a
So-
weird circumstance
It
to
is
get a
very
business.
weird. I didn't ask for it, but I'm making it, like I said, just the best that I can. So with that being said, me, my grandpa, and my uncle. So little backstory: my uncle, my dad's brother, and then my dad. They have 50-50%, or they have 50-50 ownership. So I have 50-50 ownership with my uncle. My grandpa's helping us out with the finances because I've got some stuff to learn,
Yeah.
and I'd love to keep learning, and he's teaching me a lot, and I'm getting further with that. But he's a smart man, very smart man when it comes to money, numbers and stuff like that. So I'm very grateful to have him around. Um, but that first day of like opening up and just doing everything on my own, it was just like getting thrown into the swimming pool when I was a baby or a little kid, and not knowing how to swim and just fighting for that little
You
like
got to figure it
yeah,
out.
yep.
Yeah. So how long after your father passed away were you told? Obviously you knew, but like when did you know like this is something I have to run? This is now my responsibility.
Honestly, like a couple days, because it was just like my grandpa, like I said, and my uncles, we all sat down and they're like, your name is now on the business. Like the second that my dad passed away, anything that was in his possession, in his name, got passed down to me.
How
Right away.
overwhelming was that conversation?
I didn't even know what to think, where to start. Like, do we keep the business? Do we sell the business? How is it doing right now? Because for people out there that don't know much about vaping, the whole law is it is a pain in the butt. But last fall they banned flavors, so it took a really big hit on our business, really big hit. But then the ban got lifted, so I didn't know where to start from that. I didn't know if my dad had a good customer base. I didn't know if there was enough money to be made to even keep the place open. I had no idea anything. Like I literally just got thrown into something that
That's crazy.
yeah, it really is.
So talk about where you're taking it, some of the things you're focusing on moving forward and how you want to improve the business.
So, first-handedly, I focused more on my customers right away before I, tried making the business. I am making the business better with being, better with my customers. But I wanted to establish a really good connection with all my customers, and I honestly know just about every single one of my customers. I see some new people here and there, but like I've got a really good customer base. So that was my first step. I wanted to have good customers. I wanted them to spread, the word of mouth networking, which I personally think is some of the best networking. But I just wanted to make sure that like these customers knew who I was, not just some guy that's selling them some, vaping stuff.
Yeah.
So once I got that set, I realized, wow, I've got a really good customer base. Like there's a lot of people that are coming in here. There's a lot of money to be made. And there's a lot of cool people. Like I've learned a lot with all these people. And honestly, they've taught me more with the whole vaping and everything like that than I have taught myself. Like it's crazy what people are willing to do if you just be like, hey, I'm new to this. Can you maybe explain to me what it is that you directly need?
Yeah, I feel like that's just honesty. When you're honest with people, they are willing to help you out. Because if a customer came in and you started talking and they've been vaping for 10 years, and you just got kind of thrown into this, they would be able to smell like this guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yep.
But when you're open and honest about it, I think that really helps build not only a relationship between you and your customer, but also just a trust that they can come back and you're trying to learn and you'll know more next time. And
Mm-hmm.
so what is that kind of your focus right now? Just to focus on the customer, focus on...
So it was, and now that I've kind of established that really good relationship with the customers, I want to move forward with online sales and like social media marketing and stuff like that, which I I don't really know much about social media marketing. I have a friend that's working on a website for me, and I would love to push my stuff onto sales push my sales online because we do have a competition right across the street called Mr. Ease, which is another vape shop, and they're like specifically online. Like they have a huge warehouse and they're shipping, and like I know that I have people in different states that have said like, hey, I will buy from you. And I would love to be able to push everything online so that way I can ship to them, because I know I could expand my business greatly with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So has that been a challenge to, because obviously it wasn't set up when you inherited the business to have an online portion. So how's that been going for you?
So I haven't actually been able to move online yet. So my buddy that's making the website, we still got a couple, things to work through with the website and whatnot. And then, so anytime that you make a sale online, you or any sale in a store when it comes to any credit card transactions, which you're going to have to do online, you have to have a merchant service. Merchant services don't really like tobacco industries, so it's kind of a pain in the butt trying to get someone that's going to work with us online.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're really picky when it comes to the tobacco stuff. So you have to find like the right place that's willing to do this stuff with you.
Right. Let's go back a little bit because I'm curious. Was owning a business ever a dream or goal of yours?
Honestly, yeah. So another little backstory. My great-great-grandpa, he owned a company in Grand Rapids called Lescoa. It was a car parts manufacturing company, and it was sold the year before I was born. And I had always been told about it, this is so awesome. I always thought it was phenomenal that my grandpa had owned a company like that. And I always said that when I'm older, I'm going to reopen Lescoa. Didn't happen. I don't know if I really want to get into cars and stuff like that, but I've always wanted to own a business. I just never knew what it was going to be. I didn't know how to go about it.
So yeah, that moment when you got the business, then did that feel like you had achieved that goal, or was the passing away of your father too overwhelming too?
I'd have to say the passing of my father was way too overwhelming.
Yeah.
Now looking back at it, I would say that I know that I've achieved this goal. And I'm just very blessed to say that I was given it by my father.
Yeah.
Given the circumstances, yeah, it sucks, but like, you really just have to make the best of any situation that you're in, especially this one right now, because like there's so much stuff that to be made. There's so much money to be made, and there's such a I want to say that I am part of my dad's legacy, but this shop was also part of his legacy, because starting to work there, I realized how many lives he's touched. I did not know that. Had no idea. Everybody that came in that first month, I would have to explain to them what happened to my dad. And I had to tell them over and over and over again. And, it just really humbled me with my dad's death, and to see just how many people really loved him. And I just didn't know it.
Yeah, that's great. And especially coming from people who supported his business, supported him, like that's very valuable for you to hear, because now those are the same people who are going to be supporting you.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it about legacy? You keep saying that word. What is it about that you're so passionate about, that it's so important to you?
Life is short. My father passed away at 39 years old. That mind boggles me. It's just, death is something that I can't really comprehend. And I've never really thought about legacy until he passed away, because I never really knew what happens when you're gone. What did you leave behind that people are necessarily going to know you for? And it's not that it has to be extravagant, like you have to be some well-known person. It's just, what did you do for your community? What did you do for your family? What did you do for the people around you that knew you, just to be remembered? And if I'm only remembered for a couple generations after I pass away, so be it. And even if I'm not, it is what it is. But like, I just want to leave some footprint in some area in the world that ultimately just makes me feel good while I'm alive too, and knowing that my kids, my family, I hope to God I have kids, but I want them to be part of my legacy as well. So
yeah, so just leaving the world different than when you, like, if you hadn't lived, the world would be a different place.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.